Thank you for inviting me to share this platform with you. It's a real privilege to be here speaking to you all about how and why the military is using video games and gaming adjacent spaces to target younger and younger children in their recruitment tactics. Before I was a combat veteran, I was a gamer. I remember my grandmother letting me borrow her original Nintendo, which carried over to Sega versus Nintendo debates, and then years later turned into Warcraft 2 and Unreal Tournament. So when I deployed to Fallujah, Iraq in 2006 with an Xbox 360 and a stack of games stuffed in the bottom of a sea bag, not a single person who knew me was surprised. It's my experiences in Fallujah, Iraq, and later in Helmand Province, Afghanistan that bring me here. It's why, as both a gamer and a vet with regrets, it's important to me to actively work to keep the military out of gaming spaces. To start, I'd like to provide some context for why veterans, gamers, and allies find an initiative like Gamers for Peace so important to truth in recruitment in gaming adjacent spaces. First, I should plainly state the purpose of the Truth in Recruitment, also known as counter recruitment, is to highlight the disadvantages and very real costs of military service that recruiters minimize or even omit altogether when talking to young people about enlisting. The diverse veteran experience is a spectrum rarely captured in its entirety in media portrayals. GFP is made up of veterans, gamers, and allies across that spectrum, sharing their stories so that others may not experience the traumas of warfare. The goal of Gamers for Peace is to provide truth and recruitment services to college and high school-aged individuals susceptible to the economic draft and predatory recruiting practices of the U.S. military, while promoting nonviolent solutions to the current state of affairs, both for the youth themselves and the communities they live in. Traditionally, Veterans for Peace and other organizations have done this direct action work by having veterans visit high schools and talk openly to teenagers about their military service. But military recruiting has started to change in 2018 when the Army failed to meet the recruiting goal for the first time in 13 years. The Army and Navy moved away from school visits, TV ads, and other traditional methods of recruiting and put massive amounts of advertising money and other resources online because they recognized that their target audience was spending the majority of their time in online spaces. The Navy alone budgeted $33 million for internet advertising in 2020, which is a whopping 97% of their advertising budget. But one tactic that has had one of the biggest impacts on military recruitment numbers was the military's infiltration of video gaming, streaming, and organized esports. According to the Entertainment Software Association, the ESA, in 2020, there were an estimated 214.4 million video game players in the United States, with 75% of those American households possessing at least one video game device. Shooter games were the third most popular genre. Within the gaming market, military or war-themed FPS is first-person shooters is a major genre, accounting for 26.9% of all games sold in the US in 2018. Moreover, it is estimated that 80% of male gamers aged between 18 to 34 and 61% of men aged 35 to 54 play FPS games on a regular basis. Twitch, one of the largest and fastest growing live streaming and gaming adjacent platforms, averages 3 million concurrent views with half a billion hours of content consumed. Of those views, 65% are male identified individuals, 41% are aged 16 to 24, and 73% are aged between 16 and 34. The military recognized this and launched their own esports teams and tournaments, Twitch channels, and other social media accounts specifically for advertising and streaming on Twitch netted the Army 13,000 new recruiting leads in the first 6 months of 2020 alone, per YouTuber's Second Thoughts amazing YouTube video. And recruitment efforts through these pipelines will continue to be successful until media consumption habits change. There's another layer to the military's urgency in changing recruiting tactics, and that's the availability of potential new enlistees. There's a large segment of the youth population that is not eligible for military service due to factors like being severely overweight, mental health issues, and other physical health issues. The remaining percentage of the military has to recruit from a very small, only 17% of youth are willing and able to enlist. The military knows this is a major issue. They may not be able to address the mental and physical issues preventing enlistment, but they can target the willingness to serve aspect of the recruiting problem by targeting children. Trump's Assistant Secretary of the Army for Manpower and Reserve Affairs, Dr. E. Casey Wardinsky, said best in 2019 Business Insider interview. We have to confront this question of, will we wait until they're 17 or will we start talking to them at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, when they form the set of things they are thinking about doing with their life? And particularly, if their parents or other close family members never served, the option either may not occur to them or could be completely written off. If we wait until they're 17 or 18, we will not be their first impression, Wardinsky said. Others will have made that for us. To address this, the military's current recruiting tactics banks on the phenomenon of parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships are when an individual forms a strong emotional bond with someone who literally does not know they exist. Think people who feel extremely close to celebrities, pop stars, and now YouTubers and Twitch streamers. The military is grooming children for enlistment by exploiting the human phenomenon of parasocial relationships through Twitch. Each branch essentially identifies their most charismatic enlisted members, has them develop on-screen personas that connect with viewers, and puts them on Twitch for hours every day where they have unrestricted access to children. They of course play games that are targeted at the current recruiting age, like Call of Duty, League of Legends, World of Tanks, but they also stream themselves playing games like Planet Zoo, Minecraft, and Fortnite, which are absolutely geared towards a much younger audience. Children are primed to be influenced by parasocial relationships due to the media climate they are growing up in. The quantity of content and level of interaction children can have with online personalities through chat and social media is greater than ever before. You only have to be 13 to have an account on Twitch and most other social media locations, and we know plenty of 10, 11, 12-year-olds who are lying about their age or get permission from parents. Kids watch these esports military personnel and see themselves in them, see themselves playing alongside them, never realizing the chances of them playing esports for the military as a full-time job is far, far less than the chance of them suffering trauma, injury, military sexual assault, or other serious and life-altering consequences of military service. Esports, the modern iteration of it, isn't the first time the military has dipped into video game industry territory. Military Entertainment Complex, which is the U.S. military's influence, control, and in some cases creation of content found in movies, TV shows, and other media, has a long-standing relationship with video games, dating back to the days back to the days of Doom. Some of you may remember the Marine mod, which has a mod developed for training United States Marines. Later was released to the public. More currently, you might be familiar with America's Army and its current iteration, America's Army's Proving Grounds. Per Dr. Richard Goffrey's recent article, The Politics of Consuming War, Video Games, the Military Entertainment Complex, and the Spectacle of Violence. The stated aim of the game is to, quote, educate the American people about the U.S. Army and its career opportunities, high-tech involvement, values, and teamwork. According to Nichols, the original idea of the game came about in the late 1990s when the U.S. Army began missing recruitment targets, recognizing that many of the youngest recruits were spending much more of their time playing video games and citing FPSs in particular as one of their inspirations for enlisting. The game was created to intentionally target this demographic and to stimulate interest in a military career through exposure to this form of warplay. As such, the game is very closely tied to the ethos, practices, and activities of the U.S. Army. Through a spectacular example of co-branding, the Army promotes the game and the game promotes the Army, even to the point of inserting recruitment adverts during the loading screen whilst players wait to join a mission. There's further tie-in for targeting gamers, and that ties into the future of warfare with the push towards over-the-horizon capabilities. There's evidence to support that gamers have an existing skill set that provides an advantage in the future of drone warfare. This is especially attractive as what over-the-horizon warfare means is a new term to the military. It can be defined as any military capability which can strike terrorists and target without American boots on the ground, or very few if needed. Drones and airstrikes are the current iteration. In conclusion, I know I'm running very short on time, and I could talk all day about the military's recruitment efforts in gaming spaces and the reasons why and how it benefits them in the current state of warfare and the future state of warfare. So I have many reasons to do counter recruitment. As a gamer, I don't want to see our hobby used to promote anything other than fun and community. As a veteran, I don't want to see another generation of veterans. I don't want to see more children pulled into a system that leads to 22 individuals taking their life each day. I don't want to see more families living in fear of sunny, clear sky days. So what is the GFP offering to someone avoiding being recruited by the military or in need of an alternative? First, community, with people discussing the reasons why military service is not a good choice as it's made out to be. And this is talking about our firsthand experiences regarding the violence, the moral injury, PTSD, the oppression of people, and the impact on the climate crisis, amongst many, many others, while promoting a culture of peace and anti-militarism. Second, we want to offer options to avoid the economic draft, scholarships, internships, and mentorship assistance. Third, reward and empowerment for their hobby in pursuit of positive change through gaming. Gaming has many positive interactions and applications, and we would like to foster that. And fourth and finally, we offer a platform for them to organize to promote peace within their own communities and find political solutions within inclusive gaming-oriented spaces and community. Thank you for having me speak today. I really appreciate it.